Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first match of the third round of Season 4 of the Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins Randomizer League. I'm Ferran Burgundy. I'll be bringing the action here to you this afternoon as we've got a great race in store between Oh Dear and the creator of the Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer, slashinfty. We appreciate your patience as we had a bit of technical issues, so we're over here on Randomania 2, but we're going to get things going in a matter of moments here. For those unfamiliar, the object of Super Mario Land 2 is for our racers to defeat the evil Wario. To do so, they'll be advancing through 6 different zones to collect, as the game's title indicates, 6 golden coins by defeating 6 different bosses. And those golden coins will allow access to Wario's castle for the final showdown. Now, what's randomized here? Practically everything. The levels are shuffled. The bosses, enemies, and power-ups are randomized. The zone's music is different. Whether or not the zone's level will auto-scroll, as well as the physics, whether they're normal, moon physics, or space physics. And the zones with dual exits, whether or not they are swapped, that is also randomized. So there will be 7 zones that have that will certainly affect how both of our runners go. Now, Slash is 1-1 this season, and Deer 1-0-1, and we're getting things started right away with some Star Song action as we are in Tree Zone 3, the B level. So, Oh Dear getting a quick invincibility star, as is Slash, and with that invincibility star, they're hoping before the time runs out to be able to hit a minimum of 5 enemies to be able to get a 1-up, and looks like Slash was able to get 2, but he takes a death to that B, trying to stop his momentum, and that's going to give Oh Dear an early lead as Slash is going to have to start from scratch at the beginning of the level here. So Oh Dear with an early lead, but a quick death or an incorrect decision on those split zone levels can certainly change things around as Oh Dear hits the midpoint bell. That means if he takes a death, then he would start from that point of the level, whereas Slash getting past the point that he had just passed in terms of taking a death. Meanwhile, Oh Dear is going to finish up with the opening level and is going to head on over to the left to the first of the 6 zones, the Tree Zone. And Tree Zone 1 this time around looks to be Pumpkin Zone 1. So avoiding some of the sword-clad hockey masks and other frightening type enemies, as you would see in the Pumpkin Zone, with almost a Halloween-esque type feel. Also the vampires and bats, as Slash now finishes, and he's going to head on over to the left here. Oh Dear opting to skip past the midpoint bell, as Slash now heading into the beginning of the zone. Oh Dear pretty confident with the fire flower that he has, able to take out most of the enemies and is able to drop down and quickly finish. And he's going to head on to the first of our 7 split zones, and it is Pumpkin Zone 2. Wonder if Tree and Pumpkin just completely switched on over here. So there are 2 different exits. One leads to a secret area, and in this case, that is what our runners do not want. But they don't know which exit is the one that does that, as Slash, taking a little bit of damage, is now in danger of taking a death here with one more hit, but is able to slide right on into the goal and make up a little bit of time with that smooth entry. And Oh Dear opting to head into the opposite direction to keep the fire flower, and decides to get an invincibility star on top of it. So about a half of a level lead at the moment for Oh Dear, but all it takes is an incorrect decision, and that certainly will turn things around, as Slash is going to hit the midpoint bell. Oh Dear, meanwhile, making his way through and is going to take the standard exit. And we find out that that is the correct exit. So now into Tree Zone 4, which looks to be in its vanilla location. As Wolfman noting in chat, Wolfman, our restreamer, and assisting with the tracking as well, greatly appreciated. Was hoping for the all-Star Song seed, That is a bit of a rarity, to say the least. As Slash now going to take the standard exit, and he's going to move on over to the left of Tree 4, which is in its vanilla location. And Oh Dear making quick work of it and is on to the final board for Tree Zone, which this time around is the final board for Turtle Zone, maneuvering through inside the whale. Grazing the midpoint bell, using the bunny ears to hover. Now, whenever they get a carrot, they have those bunny ears that allows them to kind of float and hover. And we have the return of the Star Song here in the Turtle Zone. Now, the 6 bosses are randomized as well, so it could be the Mama Bird, it could be Tatanga, who's usually in the Space Zone, or it could be the Witch. So we have the Witch, which will appear on either the left or the right side, and all it takes in this case is hopping on them 3 times as Oh Dear goes to the left, and now to the right for the second hop. And now over to the right once again for the third hop, and that is going to be coin number 1 for Oh Dear. Now, you're going to see that it's going to appear in the Turtle Zone area, and that's because it goes by the board that was entered, but it is the tree coin that you will see here at 5 minutes and 14 seconds. And if you look about a frame or two before it flips out and back to the overworld map, you'll see that it moves to its correct location, as now the Hippo Zone, another of our split levels, this time around is Space Zone 1, and it looks to have the space physics, or the moon physics, I should say, as at 5:44, Slash gets coin number 1 for the Tree Zone. So about a 30-second differential after the first star, as we have the moon physics going on. As you can see, the hovering jump, and we've got even more Star Song for you. So that's now 3 Star Song locations. I wonder if we should be keeping track of that as well. So now both with fire flowers, and Oh Dear in this case taking the lower exit, which is correct, and it takes him over to Space Zone. Ooh, a Slash takes a little bit of damage there. And we have the third of our split zones here, and this looks to be Macro 1. So now this one, our runners will need the Fire Flower to take the secret exit, as both Slash and Oh Dear taking the optimum exits. And Wolfman noting in chat that you're not that petty. I made no indication of pettiness on your part whatsoever, Wolfman. You're a class act, beginning to end and everywhere in between. So Oh Dear now heading up to the top, has a little bit of a stumble jumping up, and is going to head on through after firing at a couple of ants, and is going to take the secret exit. We'll see if this heads to the space boss level. It does not. And we've got an auto-scroller that is quickly going to be reset. And back through the board he goes. And Slash now heading up, and he is going to not like the result. Oh, and he hits the spikes on the ant, so he loses the Fire Flower, but just a little bit too late, as he is going to see the auto-scrolling macro secret and is going to quickly soft reset, hitting select start A and B, I believe, soft resets. That way you can preserve your lives, but it comes at the cost of whatever power-up you had, so you have to start back over as Small Mario. So now it's a matter of re-navigating through the level and having to go beginning to end since it was completed. So Oh Dear with the advantage on that. Oh, and Slash was jumping at the mushroom and ends up falling into the spikes and ends up taking a death. Oh Dear, meanwhile, is on the final space zone, which this time around is Mario Zone 4. Slash now trying again to get through the zone, but the death costing him a little bit of a setback here as he's able to find the hidden power-up, which this time around is a fire flower. Now, with any of the different power-ups, you could see anything from a mushroom, a fire flower, the carrot to give you the bunny ears, you could see an invincibility star, or you could see the money bag, which gives you 50 coins. And the boss for the space zone is the sewer rat, normally seen in Macro Zone, and making quick work of it is Oh Dear, and at 9:54 gets coin number 2, the space zone coin, even though you see it appearing in Mario Zone section. So about a 1-level lead here at the moment for Oh Dear, as he is now going to head up and into Macro Zone. So this is going to be the 4th of our split levels, and this time around it is Turtle Zone 2, also known as the Submarine. Now, our runners have 2 different options here. The shorter path is through to the secret exit. It's what's known by our runners as the Gauntlet, as they go through as small Mario, although there are some ways to clip through to take a little bit of potential damage boost if the Gauntlet is pretty tough here. But you can see there are a row of enemies, and with it being randomized, you don't know what you're going to get. There could be bonefish, there could be bullet bills, there could be sharks. Although Oh Dear making pretty quick work of it, almost as quick as Slash is of taking care of the sewer rat. And we will see if the secret is correct, or at least ideal. And it is not. So that just means 1 extra level in this case, as here at 11:05, Slash gets coin number 2. So the lead expanding to a little over a minute thanks to those couple of deaths. And now Slash is going to head on up into Macro Zone as Oh Dear working on an invincibility star, but had lost it just at the moment. And now looking for a couple of power-ups, gets a mushroom to power up as well as a 1-up. As he now hits the midpoint section, looks for another power-up and gets the fire flower. As this here is what would normally be the starting zone here at Macro Zone 2. So now he's going to head on over to Macro 3, which in this case is Mario 1, and Slash taking a death to the bonefish in the Gauntlet. So he's going to start back over. As Oh Dear is just barely hopping over those spikes in what is Mario Zone 1, the 3rd Macro Zone level. Slash, meanwhile, is going to try again with the Gauntlet. And you have to figure with the length of time that it takes to traverse through the long way of the stage, is it worth going through that to save yourself 1 zone's level by going from Macro 1 right to the secret, right over to 4, which is where Oh Dear currently is at. And it looks like we have Pumpkin Zone 4 with what I believe is Moon Physics. As both runners taking the less than ideal route. So Oh Dear will maintain his lead as he makes his way through, hopping over the various cauldrons and trying to avoid the flames, just grazing the midpoint bell, as Slash hoping to avoid a hit here, or at least looking for a power-up, playing a little on the risky side here, and he gets a fire flower to get a little bit of insurance. As Oh Dear floating up top over the broomsticks and letting gravity kind of take him down as best it can with the moon gravity. And we've got more Star Song action. Meanwhile, Oh Dear has made his way to the boss of the macro zone, and this time around it's the Mama Bird. Normally the boss of the tree zone. And using the moon physics and, well, not able to utilize the bunny ears with the moon physics, just kind of floats over top, stomps on the head of the Mama Bird 3 times, and collects coin number 3 here at 14 minutes and 33 seconds. Now, it appears in Pumpkin Zone, but you saw just at that split second it switched over to Macro Zone, as Pumpkin is where Oh Dear's going to head to now. And Pumpkin Zone 1 this time around, well, that looks to be Macro 2. As now heading into the final zone for Macro is Slash. It's got some catching up to do, though. Oh Dear just floating over the top, using those bunny ears to his advantage whenever and however he can, but is going to opt out of it for the purpose of the Fire Flower. And if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, don't forget to give the runners a follow, Oh Dear and slashinfty. You can see the links there in chat. And also make sure to give a little bit of love behind the scenes, as Malcucca noting in chat the disco ant, as it was kind of shimmying back and forth from left to right. Maybe it wanted to groove along to the Star Song as well. Who knows? But yes, make sure to follow Wolfman, who's taking care of the restreaming, as well as, oh, there we go, a little more dancing here on Oh Dear's part. The party ants going on. As Slash looking for a power-up and has to go underneath the pipes. And now we have for Oh Dear the 5th of our split zone levels, and this one is Tree Zone 2. As Slash is going to take advantage of that invincibility star, but how much time was lost in the purpose of getting to it, especially since he ends up forfeiting it right there as he faces the boss. So now Slash with the jump and not able to hold up, so a little bit more of an efficient destruction of Mama Bird from Oh Dear. Slash taking a bit of damage, and now he's one hit away from taking a death, so he has to be even more careful here. But he is able to do it, and that is going to be golden coin number 3 for Slash. But the deficit continues to grow wider, as now it's 17-13, about a 2.5 minute gap, and making the correct decision is Oh Dear. So he is going to move on here to Pumpkin 3. So Slash now a good 2 and change zone levels behind. Oh Dear is going to have to make some less than desired choices here, but this is the second split zone level here in the Pumpkin Zone. In this case, it is Pumpkin Zone 3, which is in its vanilla location. So now, to get to the secret exit on this one, you have to have the bunny ears, which Oh Dear does. He floats over top, and we'll see what the secret exit has in store. It is the correct one. So now the boss zone here for Pumpkin this time around is Macro Zone 4. And Oh Dear getting his 100th enemy kill, not including bosses. So that automatically generates an invincibility star. Generally, in an ideal run, our runners are going to attempt to have the 99th kill in Wario Castle, so once they get to 100, they'll be able to utilize it to take out the mini-bosses before Wario is Slash taking a death. Meanwhile, oh dear, up to the Pumpkin Zone boss, and this time around it's the Three Little Pigs, which, thanks to the Fire Flower, he's going to fry up some ham, some bacon, and some sausage, and that is going to take care of the Three Little Pigs, and that is going to get coin number 4 here for oh dear at the 19-minute and 19-second mark. And we have even more Star Song action. This is our 5th zone level with Star Song in this seed. And we've got Tree Secret Zone to start off Mario 1. Now, the Mario Zone is notorious for not having any split zones. It's the only zone that does not have any split zone levels. As Slash able to get a power-up and loses it quickly to a spike. Floating on up. And another invincibility star. Slash going to head back on down here and is going to try to go for the upper path, the secret path. Or maybe he isn't. He's going to go low. And the standard exit is not the correct one. Oh, no. So he's going to head on down to Pumpkin Secret 1 and is going to immediately soft reset so quickly I didn't even see what the level was. So Slash is going to head back on in. Oh dear, meanwhile, in the second Mario Zone, which looks this time around to be Turtle Zone 1, and it's an auto-scroller. But on the bright side, we get to hear more of the Star Song. So there's a silver lining to everything, right? And oh dear, taking a bit of damage to that Goomba as he hits the midpoint bell. When it comes to a racing scenario, auto-scrollers are something that you tend to dread, because you just have to wait. It's like heading up an escalator with a bunch of people in front of you that aren't moving. You want to try to get past them, but you have to just ride that ride. Ooh, and oh dear, taking a bit of damage here, having to do so with the auto-scroll, and ooh, able to go low, tried to go high. Thankfully, there's that gap there. As Slash now trying to get up to the secret area, is now the third Mario Zone is the Vanilla Mario Zone 2. Meanwhile, finally able to get on up to the secret exit and head on to Pumpkin Zone 3 is Slash. So as Wolfman noting in chat, because the enemy was taken out that can be used to kind of boost up by jumping on them and taking that height boost, there is a precise set of timing in terms of hitting the button to be able to do a higher than normal jump, which he was able to do there. And we have the Space Zone 2 as the final level for Mario Zone. And it looks like we have auto-scroll and space physics action. So able to make up a little bit of time there by taking the correct exit, but Slash unaware that there are more auto-scrollers in his path. And those are not places that you can make up time. As of the last count, it was 2 minutes and 40 seconds between when Oh Dear and when Slash had gotten coin 3, but it already at this point 4.5, almost 5 minutes between Oh Dear getting coin number 4 and Slash now making his way to the boss here. Oh, and immediately taking some damage. And Mal Cookin asking in chat, there is another race in roughly a half hour. That's right, stick with us here for the duration, as we've got a double header for you. At the conclusion of this race, coming up at the top of the hour, we have Beast against Late Learner. And that should be a doozy, as both are very, very, very similar in terms of competitive times. I believe the last time they faced each other, the differential was less than a minute. As Slash able to take out the pigs, and at 24:42 has coin number 4. But again, the deficit continuing to widen as this seed goes on. Now a 5 minute and 23 second differential. So Oh Dear is going to have to run into some struggles, perhaps in Turtle Zone or in Wario's Castle, which certainly can be the equalizer, as we now have Tatanga, normally the Space Zone boss, which Oh Dear hops once, hops twice, hops 3 times thanks to the space physics, and is going to take out Tatanga to get golden coin number 5, as Slash finds out about the auto scroll. 25:43 the time for Oh Dear, as he gets coin number 5. Slash, meanwhile, is going to have to endure not 1 but 2 auto scrolls. There's only a couple of zones left. And Turtle Secret to start off here in Turtle 1. And running through a little on the slower side, and it looks like that's because we've got moon physics here in the Turtle Secret. So Oh Dear finishing up the first zone, and we've got another auto scroll for the final split zone. It's going to be Hippo. So it's pretty much a matter of riding the bubble. It almost seems like a second Space Zone 2 in a sense. As Slash now able to head on through and is making his way to the third Mario Zone, Mario Zone 2. Oh Dear continuing to float on in the bubble. So now at the end of the stage, Oh Dear has a choice to take the upper path, which generally is what you would take, or the lower path if you happen to lose your bubble and don't have any assisting abilities to head on up to that upper exit. Now, in the normal version of the game, that lower exit would just take you on over to Macro Zone. But in this case, it'll either send our runners to the Turtle Secret or to the third and final Turtle Zone. Which we see here by process of elimination is going to be Tree Zone 5. So Slash now making his way to the final Mario Zone, and he gets to handle the auto-scrolling Space 2, and taking the upper path is Oh Dear, and that is not correct. And he didn't even bother with it. That was Macro Zone 3 we saw a brief glimpse of. So this is a point where Slash could come back if he gets, as Beast noting in chat here, if Slash gets that correct first try and takes the lower exit, then that gives him a chance to catch up here. So Slash taking a bit of a damage boost, but able to find an invincibility star, and is going to try to use that to make his way through the various stars. So now just a pair of auto-scrollers coming your way here for the moment. But that'll give me time to let you know that here among the Randomania networks, coming up tonight at 9 o'clock, it is the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer weekly race. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern here, I believe, on Randomania. Technical issues pending, of course. And tomorrow evening at 7, it's going to be a Legend of Zelda Randomizer Battle Royale between Tetra as well as Random Effects going to be in there. Also Malagord and Captain Green 7, so a 4-way Battle Royale there. Not quite a WWE-style Fatal 4-way, at least I don't believe. And then Monday evening at 7 o'clock, more action here in the Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer League as Slash takes out Tatanga. Be more into that in just a moment here. As Slash gets coin number 5 here at 3107. But Slash still with some work to do to get through the turtle zone, so he is going to need to get through that auto-scroller quick. As Oh Dear taking on the octopus in its vanilla location. Quick roasting of it. And we see Space Physics in Tree Zone 5. And here at 3142, that is going to be coin number 6 for Oh Dear. So he is going to make his way into Wario's castle shortly here. But we have seen with some wonky physics, the castle definitely equalize things and create leads where there were deficits and create deficits where there were leads. So Oh Dear heading in here at 3214. And it looks like it is standard physics, but who knows what quirks await in Wario's castle. As Slash now taking the bubble up. As I was mentioning, this Monday night at 7 p.m., it's going to be Typo against Sharky 2107 here in Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer League action. As Oh Dear waiting for the platforms and looking for a power-up. Having to dodge the fists that are making their way down and doing so nicely. Slash is trying to fire at anything in his way. So Oh Dear quickly making his way up the castle. Now, on average, Oh Dear finishes these races in about 37.5 minutes, so he looks to be ahead of pace of that here. As now we're on the final boss. Or I should say the final mini-boss before the final boss, known as Wario. And some spin jumps take them out. One last power-up. It's a carrot that Oh Dear does not want. Oh, and Slash taking the incorrect exit and is going to reset. So that's going to, pending some sort of a disaster here, is going to give this to Oh Dear as he stomps on the head thrice of the first Wario formation. Now taking a damage boost here to knock out Wario for the second. And now just one more iteration. He stomps once, he stomps twice, he stomps thrice, and that is going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, get out your GGs in chat for Oh Dear, who is going to take this race with an official SRL time of 34 minutes and 43 seconds. So it looks like the third time, not quite the charm for Slash, as head-to-head, Deer is 3 for 3 against Slash. Maybe it's something about the third round, I suppose. The things coming in threes. So we'll see in a little bit if we can hear from our Victor Oh Dear. Meanwhile, Slash making his way through the auto-scroller and taking the lower path, and is going to head on to the final zone. And we've got Tree 5 with Space Physics. You can see using it to kind of hover along, to float along, avoiding any potential difficult enemies, and also beelining it to the midpoint bell. Now gets a set of bunny ears, not able to use them here in this seed with the Space Physics. As we are joined in chat by our Victor Oh Dear, congrats and GG.
Hello,
Finishing
hello.
a little ahead of your standard time, about 2.5 minutes ahead of your average.
Is my average that bad?
Well, it says, according to the league records here, your mean time is about 37.5 minutes, so 34:43. It's almost 3 minutes faster than that, so it'll definitely bring that mean time down.
Yeah, although that was a pretty slow seed with how many was it? 3 auto-scrollers, I think. All of them pretty long.
I believe there were 4 auto-scrollers.
It could have been 4. It started off with 1.
That's right. Tree 3 in the beginning was 1, wasn't it?
Yeah,
or?
Exactly.
Okay,
no,
so that makes it... Or no, it wasn't. Okay.
I meant... wasn't Turtle... Yeah, Turtle...
Well, you know,
1?
there was a 4th one, but I think you'd both reset out of it. That's what it was.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Exactly. You're right.
Yeah, so there was technically a 4th one, but you saw it for all of about a half a second at most.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, it was slow enough as it was.
But yeah, there were 2 in the Mario zone, the first turtle, and then of course the space, which is pretty standard. But on the bright side, we get one last passing star song here in Wario's castle. So thank goodness for small favors. Yeah, we try to pay attention to those things in chat. It keeps everybody engaged. It's the little things that count.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hippo definitely being the cumbersome of the auto scrollers.
I was so annoyed. In the end, you exactly know what's gonna happen. You have to make that decision, and you know exactly if I choose wrong here. I have to play all those. How many is it? 2.5 minutes again.
something along those
It's
lines.
not nice.
So as far as the split decisions, as Slash is making his way through the castle now, looks like you had a slight advantage in getting 4 out of the 7 ideal choices to Slash's 3. There were a couple of early deaths that widened the gap as things were going along. It was about a 30-second differential after the first star, but then it just slowly crept up a little more. It was about a minute and 11 after the second star. It was 2 minutes and 40 seconds after the third star. It was about 5.5 minutes after the fourth star. It just kept widening, and part of that was the Slash having to go back through tree 2 twice. That was the one differential that you had picked correctly that he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had taken the secret exit, he had taken the standard, and that caused him to have to redo that zone's level, and already having been a few minutes behind after taking a couple of early unfortunate deaths.
Yeah, on top of that, there were also a few quite difficult levels, execution-wise, and if that happens and I get through, normally I'm usually in an advantage because I just have a bit more experience with the game. So that's when I know myself, okay, Slash might have trouble here. So I'm getting a bit calmer the more difficult the seed gets.
I think too. I mean, while Slash has experience with the game, I think his experience is more with coding and programming than it is with the actual running of it necessarily, unless it's test runs for bug checks and whatnot.
I mean, he ran the game at GDQ. It's not that he doesn't have any experience.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Things like he never ran the small Mario only category, for example, which is just something that gives me an advantage because pretty much no one else ever ran that category. And
so it's the variety of runs
there. Yeah.
All right. Well, Slash has finished up. He is going to take second here with an official SRL time of 40 minutes and 27 seconds. And it looks like we have Slash joining us in chat. A gallant effort, Slash.
GG.
GG.
Thank you.
So in looking at things here, it looks like the gap had kind of widened slowly but surely throughout the seed. It was about a 30-second differential after the first after the tree zone, the first coin, and it was a couple of early deaths on your part that really had kind of set the tone as it gradually got wider and wider as the seed had wound on, and then the big gap had occurred with the tree zone 2 and taking the pumpkin zone spot, having to go through that tree sap level twice. That was the only difference in terms of decisions that Slash had made differently than Deer. And that you had to go through that twice, and that just split everything open. It was about a 2 minute and 40-second differential after 3 coins, but then that expanded to about 5.5 minutes, a little less than. And by the time you've gotten up to, that was by coin 4, and then by coin 5, it was about the same. You had actually made up a little bit of time on that. But then, yeah, it ended up being about a almost 6 minute differential after 6 coins, and by that point, yeah, he was already in a few minutes before you had gotten coin number 6.
Yeah, it felt pretty good coming out of Tree Zone, and things got a little sloppy. Then things got a little worse. And Pumpkin Zone didn't feel great.
That was a little problematic for all parties involved. It certainly had its moments, to say the least. And then the opportunities to catch up were kind of few and far between, as in those last 2 zones, out of a potential 7 zones that you're facing, 3 of them were auto-scrollers.
Yeah, there was a lot of different gravity and different... there's a couple auto-scrollers there. It really slowed everything down.
Yeah, the space, having both the space physics and an auto-scroller, I mean, that's kind of standard, but the hippo, I think, with the auto-scroller was the biggie. I figured if there was anywhere where there was a potential to narrow the lead, that would have been it there. But it's just a coin flip. I mean, you're right there at the edge, and it's all right. Do I take the upper path with the bubble, or do I go against the grain with that and go to the lower one? And both went with the instincts, and both had to redo that particular level.
Yeah, you kind of want to play the odds there and take the upper one as long as you have the bubble, because in case you lose the bubble, you cannot go up anymore. So if you have the bubble at the end, you have to go up.
Yeah, that's basically how I felt.
Well, otherwise, any any other particular thoughts here as this particular seed winds down?
When's all auto scroller seed slash? This was pretty close.
It was pretty rough. I'm always excited for Beast Mode next week, and after that we've got to showcase the new version, which is going to have some neat stuff going on, and then next season's going to be a whole bunch of fun.
Now, I'm pretty sure that some of that was in jest, but the as far as the all auto scroller seed, I don't know. Is there a marathon percent in that regard as far as an all auto scroller, or maybe that can be something down the line for the truly masochistic of the Super Mario Land 2 runners?
Please no.
I would have to custom make one, because it would be just sheer luck that would actually happen.
Okay, that's right up there with the All-Star Song seed.
All-Star Song is actual built-in, 1% chance, but all auto scrollers is not built in. Yeah, All-Star Song is something that's built in for fun.
Well, that's good to know. Yes, next week the Beast Mode, that's where things get a little bit more difficult. The midpoint bells being replaced with enemies, the physics more harsh, as well as the enemy placement a little more specific in terms of challenge, and the boss hit points randomized. So certainly separates the adults from the children in terms of how tough these seeds are.
Yeah, we probably won't see low 30-minute seeds in that one.
So, Deer, so this puts you to 2-0-1 for the season. Slash, that moves you to 1-2. Still a lot more action to come, including about 10 minutes from now. We've got the second of our doubleheader coming up. We have Beast taking on Late Learner, and as I look here in the Discord, I'm not sure how much of this should be put out there, but Late Learner apparently putting himself at a potential voluntary disadvantage early on, thanks to some extracurricular activities.
I hope he didn't drink too much orange juice.
Typical Ross.
I tried to leave it out to the imagination for those who aren't on the Discord, but if you want to get involved with some of the shenanigans that are going on there, a good way to do so would be to join the Discord, which is right there in chat, as well as checking out the randomizer itself. If you saw what you liked here or liked what you saw and did a little bit of both and want to give the randomizer a try, and also information about the league is available as well, league.sml2r.download. And then, of course, the randomizer itself is sml2r.download, as well as the link to Discord that is in the chat as well. So there's a few different things going on here, and something tells me that I'm in trouble with Late Learner, but I'm sure he'll give me a little grief for that at the conclusion of his race in roughly 45 minutes to an hour from now. Or longer if things turn out as bad as he says it's going to, but we'll see.
Good luck.